Hello and welcome to the Intel Extreme Masters as we're here live from the Taipei Game Show in Taiwan. How are you doing, Maynard? Welcome to another Intel Extreme Masters.
Thank you very much, mate. I feel very welcome. Everyone's been very sweet to me. Taipei as well has been very sweet to me. I've had some very good food, had a reasonably cruisy flight. It was a long flight, but it was good. Very happy to be here. Really happy to see all these players in this bracket turn up. Yeah,
the first tournament of 2015. Very excited to get this underway. We have 5 days of StarCraft action. We can take a look at the schedule to show exactly where we're going to be going over the next couple of days. Today, we'll be starting off with the open bracket. 2 of them, of course, 16 players, 4 slots available to join into group play, which starts tomorrow, covering Group A and B, and then Friday, C and D, before the quarterfinals starting on Saturday, and then the semi-finals and above on Sunday.
5 days. 5 days of StarCraft action. A day more than what we normally get at an Intel Extreme Masters, so that's more for you guys, which means more for us as well, as fans and also commentators.
Yep.
Couldn't be more excited.
A lot of action. Not too long days either. Most days are around about 6 or 7 hours, but 5 days worth of StarCraft action. And now let's take a little bit of a closer look. We already have 12 players who have qualified or been invited into group play that will be starting from tomorrow, and then of course on the search for 4 more from the open bracket later today. But let's have a look at this then. So Group A, we have Sen the local, Pult, and our 3-time Intel Extreme Master CJ Hero.
Yeah, Hero's really got the big storyline here. He's looking for his 4th title. He's looking to get a revenge on a few players here, but also Sen, the last non-Korean to win a Premier tournament. Of course, we're looking out for him and how well he'll do as well.
Group B consists of Classic, our 2nd non-Korean in the group stage play at least, Harston, and then of course Rain, our finalist from San Jose.
Yeah, talked to Harston a little bit last night, and he's got something in store for these people in his group. So I'll be very excited to see how he goes in a couple days' time when we see him play.
Looking forward to that one. Group C, San, 4GG, and our BlizzCon champion, Life.
Yeah, Life, the big one here in this group. I mean, 4GG and San really can take games off of him. Absolutely, they have in the past. But Life will be looking very, very closely at him and see if he continues his reign of dominance. I'm kind of feeling him to win the entire tournament right now.
Let's see if he can do that, because I think he's got a shot as well, Maynard. And finally, we have Group D, a very interesting group. We have Moru joining us here at the first time in the Intel Extreme Masters, Hydra, and of course, Partink.
That's right. I saw Hydra play recently in WCS America. Would like to see how he goes against this big group of Koreans, these big scary boys in this Intel Extreme Masters in Taipei, the last stop before Katowice.
And that's right, so not too far away from the World Championships here. But those are the 12 players who have made it into group play via invites or qualification. But there are slots available, 1 slot per group. And that leads us into the open bracket, where we can take a look at open bracket number 1. We have 8 players who are looking for 2 slots from this one.
Yeah, we do. We got Jakshi in Impact, Sakshri Linok, True Soulkey, Haas, and that's Team Liquid's Hero down there on the bottom. Team Liquid's Hero is going to really want to see, he's going to really want results from this tournament. He hasn't had too many in recent memory, losing a bit of steam, as some would say. Another player that I want to talk about in this group that's kind of the opposite to me is Linok. This kid's been on a real tear in Pro League, mainly against Protoss, but his ZvZ's never been shabby either. So these are kind of like the polar opposites, I feel, in this first dual tournament. And I'm kind of feeling, well, we've got some pretty scary Zergs here. A lot of Zergs, no secret, in this Intel Extreme Master. So plenty of ZvZs in this group, and more in the next as well.
All right, so let's take a look at open bracket number 2. We have 8 other players who are looking for 2 slots from this bracket as well, to grab 4 in total across the 2 brackets, and some very good players in this one as well.
Oh boy, Hyun. I can't even remember how many times he's been in Premier. He's been in Premier pretty much every single time in America, I feel. He's done so well. I'd be very interested to see how he does today. Revival and Dongre-gu. Patience, Ian, Daisy, and Snoot. Snoot, the foreign hope, as a lot of people would say, and as I would say as well, really is the strongest non-Korean here at this tournament, along with Sen, of course. A couple of the local Taipei, the Taiwanese, are here to play and see how they go. They've got a very tall order in front of them, though. So we'll see how this bracket plays out. I'm very interested to see how Dongre-gu will do today as well. He's been playing very well recently in the Mal, the beginning tournament that's been online recently, cast by Todd, who's here as well today to commentate. And Mal, he looked incredible in ZvZ. So we'll see how he goes today.
It's been a long time since Dongre-gu's come to Intel Extreme Masters. He's here once again today, and we'll see how well he can perform later on during today's show. But here we are, ready for the first game of the Intel Extreme Masters, the first game of professional large events here in the StarCraft 2 scene, and it's going to be True versus Soulkey from open bracket number 1. Two big players here. Soulkey, a former GSL champion. He's been playing pretty decent as of recently, but True is a different type of player compared to Soulkey.
Yeah, True's your mate, the one that you've predicted to win many, many times. Not a huge prediction from you this time, because I wouldn't either with this looking at this player group. It's very, very scary and a big call. But True hasn't really qualified before for an Intel Extreme Masters, and he's always had to come through the open bracket.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's played in multiple qualifiers for multiple different Intel Extreme Masters, but he's never been able to actually do it. But he has traveled to open brackets twice before, and 2 times making it out of the open bracket. So he's had a lot of success, 100% success when he does come to the open brackets. And here he is again today, so we'll see if he can try to go through here. Whereas Soulkey, on the other hand, it's his debut. It's his first Intel Extreme Masters.
It is, so would like to see if he actually comes and sort of makes himself at home here at Intel Extreme Masters in the circuit, and if he does pretty well. I mean, when we're talking about Dongre Gu's recent ZvZs, they were against Soulkey, and both players had extremely close series, so I'm kind of feeling Soulkey on this one. I think that based on what True's been doing lately and what Soulkey's been doing lately, just Soulkey's image is burning in my mind. It's a good image.
I would definitely have to lean towards Soulkey as the favorite in this one, but True's got a very special place in my heart.
Of course he does.
I mean, I always hope he does well in tournaments. Usually, I can't say expect, but I hope he does well. I look at True and Rogue from when they were both on Jin Air Green Wings together as like the Mario and Luigi, the Smash Brothers of Zerg, both of them, but obviously not playing on the same team anymore. True still a very talented player, and I do believe that one day he will have that breakout performance. Can it be here? Because in the Intel Extreme Masters, especially in the qualifiers and the open brackets, we have seen those breakout performances come true. If you take CJ Hero, for example, of course, is one of the most talented and one of the best Protoss players in the world, but he really started his career and getting his name out there through the Intel Extreme Masters. And then we fast forward today, a 3-times champion, a 4-time finalist, and he's looking for his 4th title at this event.
Well, Hero, it was his first big Premier Tournament win, was the Intel Extreme Masters in Singapore, I believe, and then he won the next one.
Right.
2 in a row.
Yep.
First time anyone's ever done that. And then get himself a 3rd and a couple more Intel Extreme Masters time. So a lot of people would be picking that guy to win the whole thing altogether, I think. I think he's definitely a top 3 favorite here.
Yeah. For me, at least, looking at the overall tournament now as we do prepare ourselves for game number 1, it seems like there is a couple of difficulties with getting into it initially here. But the top 3 players that really stand out for me, Maru, Life, and Hero.
Yeah, Maru is also another debuter along with Soulkey in the Intel Extreme Masters, and I mean, sometimes when someone debuts in a brand new circuit, they can't really get their feet. They're sometimes a little bit difficult. There's a lot of the difference between a player that's an individual league player and a team league player.
Yeah.
Maru definitely been a team league player, but has gone deep in, I mean, if you go deep in a GSL, then you can do well pretty much everywhere, I feel.
That's right. He's only traveled to 1 tournament abroad ever before, which was the global finals of season 2 finals. I think it was called season 2 finals in Cologne in 2013. And he didn't do that well when he traveled there, but Taiwan's a little bit closer to Korea. It's not, really going through time zones. It's a lot closer than Cologne. So hopefully he can perform well at this tournament here today. Another player, though, outside of the top 3 that I mentioned that has to stand out is our finalist from San Jose, Rain.
Yes.
Very narrowly missing out on the championship there that Hero stole away.
That's right. Rotterdam's favorite player on the entire planet. Got a lot of love for Rain. He's one of my favorite Protosses as well. I feel like he's actually, him and CJ Enters as Hero are my favorite Protosses right now. Hero being a bit of an innovator, Rain being more of just a solid guy, kind of like the innovation of Protoss.
Yep.
Pretty easy to read, but just does it so well that he wins anyway. So I'm fully expecting Rain to go very deep today.
Do you have any, outside of the obvious ones that we've kind of brought up, any players here that, whether in the open bracket or in the group stage, that you can say that, yeah, I think he could do well, or I would like him to do well?
I would love for Sen to do well today. And that's saying a lot because he hasn't, well, I mean, he did win the Taiwan Open against some pretty scary players.
Yes.
But I don't know if he will because I haven't seen him play, to be frank. But if he plays like how he used to play, I think he'll make groups pretty easily. And I think that he'll probably get far. I'm not sure if he'll make it out of groups, but yeah.
All right, well, just hearing that True does have a couple of issues with his equipment, which is what's holding us up right now before getting into this one, as the players did arrive roughly about half an hour to 45 minutes ago, so kind of still setting up and getting ready to go. Other open bracket games are being played as well. We have Rotterdam and Nathanias covering from a second stream too, so you can always go and have a look and check out that stream to see what's going on over there. But we're going to be trying to cover as many and as much as we can across the 2 streams of open bracket today. And by the end of today's action, we will have 4 players that move on into group play tomorrow, and unfortunately everyone else will be eliminated very early on. Of course, open bracket is where you pay for your own way over, you get your entrance into the tournament, and then it's you give it your best or you're going home.
Yeah, everyone here is being, well, most people here are being sent by their team. Some people have actually just paid their own way. So a lot of dedication, a lot of passion out there in the player pool on the other side of the other side of the partition here. So yeah, a lot of those guys look very ready. They look very alert and very sharp. So especially because we're so close to Korea, the Koreans have no jet lag like they would say going to some of the other Intel Stream Masters in Europe or anything like that. So they are looking very on point out there, laughing, having a great time. They all look very happy to see each other.
Yeah, a lot of them just flown in. I mean, last night, this morning, I don't know, I think it was last night, but not a long flight, nice and easy to get over here, and hopefully we see some of the best performances from them as we go deeper and deeper into the tournament. Now let's highlight a different part of this here, Maynard. Let's talk about the non-Koreans that are competing in this tournament. You brought up Sen a little bit already. You talked a bit about Harston before, so let's go in a little bit deeper into him now. What do you think his chances are? He's in an all Protoss versus Protoss group, which will be played out tomorrow. He's with Rain and with Classic.
Harston, I haven't seen something that tells me that he'll do well, but I think that because I talked to him last night, he oozes so much confidence, and he seems, and you look in his eyes, he is convinced in himself. He's very, very sure of himself that he has got something. He didn't say what, but he says he's got something planned for Classic in particular. And I mean, it's not just Classic he has to worry about. It's Rain as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with both of the Protoss players in there, Protoss versus Protoss, you can really study well to play against your opponent. Classic plays in Pro League, he's playing a lot in these televised matches in many different tournaments in Korea. Rain streams a lot too, and he has broadcasted his games publicly multiple times over the last couple of months.
Well, that's the one advantage you have as I guess the foreigner or the non-Korean being in that group, is that these Koreans are streamed so often, almost daily, that you come in there and you're pretty much guaranteed that Rain and Classic haven't studied you.
Yes.
So you can pretty much go in there and prepare as well as you can. So preparation definitely on Harston's side, but he's up against the mechanical brilliance of people like Rain and you know, the innovation of people like Classic. So.
All right, well, the other 2 non-Koreans left in this tournament that we haven't really talked about are the local Taiwanese players. Outside of Sen here, we have Ian and Haz.
Yes.
What do you think about these 2? Can these? They're both in the open bracket. Very difficult open brackets because we've talked about how difficult they are, and we've had a look at them as well.
I want to look
Any chances?
I want to look you in the eye and tell you that they'll get through Apollo, but I'm not sure I can. I'm very worried for Ian and Haas. They haven't. It's been a long time between drinks for those guys. It's been a while since they've put some score on the board, so. I would love for them to do well. I mean, the thing is, we haven't seen them play for a while. They played in the. They actually played in their local qualifier for WCS, the Hong Kong, sorry, the Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau qualifier. But they ended up falling to Sen, who is obviously. I mean, most people would say Sen is the best player from this country.
Oh, by far. Yeah, pretty sure by far.
Very, very sure by far, and in results as well. He won the Taiwan Open. I forget who the final was against, to be honest, but. It was a very close series, and he could show that he could beat...
I think it was Ian, actually. I think it was.
In the final of the Taiwan Open?
I think so. I could be wrong, but... Oh, okay, maybe I'm wrong then.
Okay. But,
I think I'm wrong then.
But, yeah, so Sen, the other players being a little bit overshadowed by him today as a Taiwan hopeful, but... They have got a large mountain to climb today.
Well, Haas starts his first game of the tournament against Liquid Hero, who has been struggling a lot recently.
It's a good start for Haas, I think. It'd be good to see what his skill level's like against someone like Hero. Hero's obviously he's been around as long as Haas has, but used to be that shining light, the beacon of Protoss hope. Then kind of lulled a little bit in his results, struggled a little bit in the tournaments he was in Pro League and that sort of thing. And but Haas would have a lot of opportunity to study him for sure. He's been on stream quite a lot.
And Ian's first game in the open brackets against Patience.
Who
we've seen a lot of in the European scene. And he's traveled over here to compete in this one as well, so...
Yeah, I would favor patience again, but then again, Ian is an unknown entity to me. I don't know him very well. He's, I mean, I looked at his results a little bit before coming to this tournament, studied up on the players a little bit. Ian did very well in the Macau qualifiers. I think he faced Sen in the final, so he would have gone along with him into Premier.
We haven't really, just looking at the open bracket here, a couple of players that we haven't really talked about too much. What do you think of the chances of players like Jakji or Impact or Sakshui? Any of these players stand a chance of advancing?
I mean, Axiom's Impact, the Axiom boys have all been leveling up very recently. I've been noticing that they're getting better and better and actually looking quite scary when they enter tournaments. A lot of them actually play in my my local sort of oceanic tournaments, Southeast Asian tournaments. You know, Heart and Impact tend to play them, and also Ryung as well. And I mean, Sakshui is incredible. I would imagine Sakshui probably being the stronger of these players. And who was the other one we were talking about?
Jakji.
Jakji. It's DreamHack winner. It's been a long time since he's put a big score on the board as well. So he's one of my favorite Terrans, or has been one of my favorite Terrans for a long time. One of the few Terrans here at this tournament. There's only a handful Terrans here at the Intel Extreme Masters Taipei, but I mean, what a handful. 4GG, Maru, and Jakji as well. It's a big Terran peer group right there.
Yeah, Innovation unfortunately cancelled his participation in this tournament, replaced by Classic.
Yes, Classic. He's in a reasonably tough group. I mean, Rain probably his scariest person, I would have to say. Harstem, the unknown entity, the Enigma, and then whoever comes in from open bracket as well. Potentially put a screw in the works for Classic's plans here.
Well, I don't know what else to tell you guys, as we still have no idea what's going on. Hopefully this game is going to be starting very shortly.
Yeah.
I have no last information since I told you. But these players, of course, fighting for the $25,000 prize pool, pretty standard across the multiple different tournaments we've had over the last year or so.
Yep.
And their share of the 4,000 WGCS points, which CJ Hero does lead at the moment, being the #1 seeded player after his win in San Jose.
As you'd expect, as rightfully so, as he earned it very handily. You get $750 for winning this Premier tournament, I believe.
Yes, correct.
And that's quite a lot in the bank. I mean, you get into the round of 4 of these Premier tournaments pretty consistently, and you're looking like you're all set for BlizzCon.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm pretty sure that Hero is going to probably make round of 4 today. I'm very convinced that Hero Life, these big names that we're talking about, are going to be not having too much trouble, but I could definitely see a couple upsets in those groups. There are some players that have the caliber to be able to get some upsets and pull some wins and really make a story for themselves. So.
Yeah. All right, well, from what I've heard, the game is finally ready. So we can kick off the Intel Extreme Masters. Thank you very much for bearing with us there, as we did have a bit of a difficulty jumping into it. But it is going to be True versus Soulkey, a Zerg versus Zerg. And I'm sure we're going to see a couple more of those throughout the day as well.
Just a few, yes. A lot of Zergs here, I think about 14. And this first ZvZ going to be on Catalina. Wow, an interesting start here from the first player. Let's introduce him. This is Soulkey. Oh, sorry, True. Oh my God.
Yeah, the overlays there.
Yeah, that blue.
Confused you there, my friend?
That blue color, it got me, mate. It got me, the color. It's all right, first cast of the day, doesn't count. And in the bottom spawn here, this is Soulkey.
And it's a 9 pull coming out here from True.
Yeah. Starting things aggressive is our D-Pix player.
Yeah, and he's taking an extractor as well, so pushing himself to 2 options. Either the very fast bailing nest with the slow Zerglings, or it can be for that Zergling speed. And
poor old Soulkey here going for the hatch first. This could potentially be very horrible for Soulkey as this unfolds for True. The gas is going to finish, and he's going to either go very fast bailing nest or, like you said, get that speed.
Yeah, the bailing nest is the more likely one of the 2.
This amount of Zerglings, yeah, could definitely be either or. I mean, you could hide a bunch of speedlings and just overwhelm your opponent. Soulkey getting gas before pull as well, Apollo.
Yeah, he's chosen to delay spawning pull here to get that extractor to look at getting Zergling speed himself pretty early on in the game, but as you can see, this attack's already coming. Unfortunately for Soulkey, he sent his first overlord north, and the second one went left, which means he's getting the very latest, if any, scout at all to this.
Everything that could possibly go wrong has gone wrong for Soulkey. He did take the inside of that little pylon in the middle of the map there, so he will see the lings. But what can you do? You can just watch them come to your front door. There's not a whole lot you can do. He could pull the drones.
Yeah,
he could try and hold the natural hatchery, but he could let it die as well.
Minimal chances to hold this at the moment. You've got to have very good drone micro. You've got to you know, run away from those 2 banelings, but will be morphing in a couple of seconds. This is going to be very difficult for Soulkey.
He's going to pull a couple lings off and make a couple banelings here, and that's going to make things very rough when you're defending with purely drones. The spawning pool just finishing now, making 8 lings and a queen, and he needs to fight off until these lings finish. But even then, he has to worry about the banelings as well, which are morphing right now on the ramp.
And Soulkey's going to try and get rid of them.
All right, he's going to go for a surround with the drones. Nice micro so far, bringing up some drones, but these 2 banelings are going to finish. And, he's been careful here. The lings are his only line of defense until that queen comes out. 2 lings trying to look for snipes, but yeah, the queen, she is about 3/4 of the way done. Banelings looking for that mineral line.
He's got to avoid these banelings.
Yeah, he's actually done pretty well so far, splitting up the drones. He's lost a few, taking pretty decent trades. Oh, the baneling just hit the hatchery there. Misclick from True.
Definitely. Now the queen's out. The queen needs to get surrounded ASAP here.
Yeah, I mean, the longer things go on, the things get a little bit easier for Soulkey as he gets a couple queens out and more Zerglings out. Oh, a connection there with the banelings, but not too many drone kills. The lings coming to finish him off, though.
Is he going to have enough to defend it with the queen? I think he will.
Yeah, it's looking like it. He's starting to stabilize here. I feel like that 1 or 2 misclicks here from True have actually cost him this attack.
But it's still 3 drones at the end of all of this.
Yeah. True is only on 9 himself. So we're in that sort of weird, scrappy situation where both players have done a lot of damage to each other. I mean, Soulkey hasn't done direct damage, but he's done economic damage by holding this attack. Meanwhile, True has only been making Zerglings this game, so...
Well, what is True doing now? Is he continuing to build Zerglings? It looks like he is.
Yeah, getting speed as well on the way.
Yeah. And at this point, with the difference in terms of the income, True simply has more money coming in, therefore can just build more stuff. He doesn't have the queen, therefore doesn't have the same amount of production, but at the end, True realizes, or Soulkey realizes, True will be able to pick up that win. And well, at the end of the day, 2 builds that one is much better versus the one here that we saw from Soulkey.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't want to say it, but that was a build order win almost when you go for early lings with speed, that 9 pull into speed against someone that goes hatch first, then gas, then pull.
Yep.
How do you hold that? I mean, that's extremely difficult. I've seen it happen before, but not 9 times out of 10. That's a win for the aggressive player.
It is holdable, but it is very, very difficult to do so. So it is True that goes up 1-0 in this best of 3. We'll continue this series in a couple of seconds. We'll be right back.